Queen Augusta's boarding school for girls has a splendid academic reputation, but on a sweltering afternoon in June, one of its pupils was not paying attention to her English exam. While her classmates scribbled away, Perdita MacLeod was drawing a polo pony. Outside, the scent of honeysuckle drifted in through the French windows. The cuckoo called from an acid-green poplar copse at the end of the lawn. Perdita, gazing out, thought longingly of the big tournament at Rocha Polo Club, where the semi-finals of the Rocha Cup were being played. All her heroes were taking part. Ricky France-Lynch, Drew Benedict, Seb and Domi Carlyle, the mighty Argentines Miguel and Juan O'Brien, and, to crown it, the Prince of Wales. Fretfully, Perdita glanced at her exam paper, which began with a poem by Newbolt. "And it's not for the sake of a ribboned coat," she read, "or the selfish hope of a season's fame, but his captain's hand on his shoulder smote, play up, and play the game." Are Newbolt's views of team spirit outdated? Asked the first question. Perdita took a fresh sheet of paper and wrote, "Yes," in her disdainful blue scrawl. The schoolboy in the poem must be an utter jerk and a pufter to boot to prefer his captain's hand on his shoulder to a season's fame and a ribboned coat. She put down her pen and thought how much she'd like a ribboned coat, one of those powder blue blazers braided with jade green silk. Hamish, her ghastly stepfather, never gave her nearly a large enough allowance. Then she thought of fame. Perdita wanted to be a famous polo player more than anything else in the world. Being at a boarding school, she could not play in the term time, and had so far only achieved the first team of a suburban pony club of hopelessly low standard. When her family moved to their splendid new house in Rocha in the autumn, however, she'd be able to have a pony and join a good club like Rocha or Cirencester just over the border. God, she was bored with this exam. She lit a cigarette, hoping it would encourage her form mistress who was adjudicating to expel her. But despite the furious wavings of paper by the swat on her right, her form mistress didn't react. She was far too engrossed in Perdita's Jackie Collins, which she'd confiscated the day before, and round which she'd now wrapped the dust jacket of Hilary Spurling's biography of Ivy Compton Burnett. Perdita took another drag and glanced at the next question. "Do you find the poems of Thomas Hardy unduly preoccupied with death?" It wasn't an afternoon for death. Perdita slid through the French windows across the sunlit lawn. Once out into Rutminster High Street, she tugged out the tails and undid the top buttons of her shirt, hitched up her navy blue skirt a few inches and wrinkled her navy blue socks. Conscious that men fancied schoolgirls, she left on her black and pink striped tie, but loosened her hair from its tortoiseshell clasp so it cascaded white blonde down her back, eliciting wolf whistles from two workmen mending the road. Perdita stuck her nose in the air. Her sights were set higher than road menders. She was a big girl for 14, tall and broad in the shoulder with pale, luminous skin and a full, sulky mouth. A long Greek nose and large, very wide-apart eyes, as dark as elderberries, gave her the look of a creature of fable, a unicorn that might vanish at any moment. The main gates of Rocha Polo Club were swarming with police because of the prince's visit. Taking a shortcut, Perdita clambered over a wall to the right, fighting her way through the undergrowth, scratching her legs on brambles and stinging nettles, until she reached the outskirts of the club. A vast emerald green ground stretched ahead of her. On the right were the pony lines, where incredibly polished ponies tied to iron rails in the shade of a row of horse chestnuts were stamping, nudging, flattening ears at each other and aiming kicks at any fly eating their bellies. God, they were beautiful, thought Perdita longingly, and curiously naked and vulnerable with their hogged manes and bound-up tails. Beyond the pony lines stood the little clubhouse with its British, American and Argentine flags. Beyond that reared the stands and the pink and white tent for the sponsors' lunch before Sunday's final. Cars for today's semi-final already lined both sides of the field. Polo fever had reached an all-time high this season due to the prince's impending wedding to Lady Diana Spencer.